What if you knew for a fact that in a year's time, you would be in your dream relationship with your dream person? How would that change the way that you approach that year? How would you feel about your life during that year? What's up, little sis? You are now tuned in to another episode of the Arab and Thriving Show. I'm your host, Rima, and I really want to talk today about the literal life-changing mindset shift that I went through that helped me enjoy the heck out of my single era and ultimately manifest my husband. If you haven't already watched my How I Manifested My Husband video, that might be a great story for you to check out after this video. In this video, I'm going to be getting super in depth about the mind state that I was in the years and even months leading up to Ahmed and I meeting. It really all goes back to this one night, this one profound night in my home, my childhood home in Dearborn, Michigan, where I literally realized nothing would ever be the same. My life was not perfect. It was far from perfect during that time. And I talk about this period a lot because I think it was like the most transformative period of my life. It was my first year in a 2-year business school program. The year before, I had lost my dad suddenly. I had broke up with a toxic ex. I had broke up with a friendship of like over a decade. And I truly felt like I was shedding skin. I didn't have this language at the time, but looking back on it, I literally felt like I shed a complete layer of skin. And the version of myself that came out of that time period is truly unrecognizable. I don't recognize the past version of myself, and I feel like I needed to go through all of that growth and pain and healing and grief in order to become the woman that would ultimately attract not just my dream man, because that's not where life starts and ends, but ultimately my dream life. I get home one night after a long day of business school, a long day of just all my thoughts and grief and everything I was going through. I was on this strict schedule of just working, studying, going to the gym, coming back home, watching some Netflix before I go to sleep, walking upstairs to my childhood bedroom, getting all tucked up under the covers in the silence of my childhood home. I was living alone in my childhood home at this point in my life, and so things would get really quiet. And in that silence, I would just feel this gratitude. I don't know if you feel this before you go to sleep. You're in your bed and it's so comfortable and everything is so quiet and your thoughts just start to settle a little bit and you're left with yourself and your thoughts. And there's this moment of like cherishing everything. And I remember this thought that just changed my life. And it was this understanding that things would never be this quiet again. Yes, I would find the man of my dreams one day. Yes, we would raise beautiful kids, inshallah, one day. I know all of those things were coming and they were going to be so beautiful when I did get them, but they would never be like this. And it's not to say that one is better than the other. It's just you can't compare them. I had this, it was almost like this fear of like, I'm living my life wanting those things. And I remember writing in my journal in the following days that my biggest fear is not never getting those things. My biggest fear is getting all of those things and realizing that I hadn't appreciated my solitude the way that I needed to. That thought changed my life that night, truly. It was like this whole different lens that I looked at my world through, because I realized that this period of my life, I'm not trapped in this solitude. This isn't a sad condition that I'm in. This is an opportunity. This is a moment to be cherished. This is something that I only want to share with someone else if I feel like they deserve it. This is sacred to me. And when I was really able to tap into how sacred my alone time was, how sacred it is and amazing it is that I can sleep when I want and I can sleep uninterrupted. I don't have little babies waking me up. That I don't need someone to tell me good night for me to have a good night. You know, like it's nice if it's the right person, but I didn't need anything. I felt like I truly understood and learned what it meant to truly be happy with myself. I read this thing the other day, and actually I think it was a TikTok video.
The love of your life should be the love of your life. The first time I read that quote, I thought I understood it. The person you choose to be the love of your life should be someone you genuinely love. I read it, thought about how I would have rephrased it, and went on about my day. It wasn't until hours later, when I was alone thinking about it, that I realized I'd put the emphasis on the wrong word. The love of your life should be the love of your life. You are the center of your existence and your longest running commitment. In everything you are involved in everything you choose to do, your life's greatest aspiration should be to love your life. No one is coming to be more committed to you than you are to yourself. because no one can. You are the love of your life. My wish for you is the unconditional love of self and the ability to let go of everything that causes you to feel anything but love for your life.
Like nothing compares to what that thing would feel like coming from a place of self-love. The best relationships can only be as amazing as they are if they start on a foundation of how much you love yourself. The best opportunities in life can only be as amazing as they are if they start from a place of you feeling like you're worthy of those things and like you love the person that you became in order to attract those things. You really are the center of this solar system of your life, and the love that you're able to cultivate between you and yourself in those moments of solitude is what is ultimately going to enrich every other relationship that you have for the rest of your life. And even though theoretically I knew that, logically I knew that, I would say things like that to people, I had never really felt it until that moment of like, this is so precious, and I'm gonna put my head down from now on and just focus on loving this so much that when I do find someone, I'm not gonna miss this to the point where I feel like I wish I could go back and tell that younger version of myself that she should have appreciated that time, because I did appreciate that time. One of my biggest fears in life, and maybe this is something I can talk to a therapist about, is regret. I don't want to regret things. So I try my best, as much as I possibly humanly can, to listen to other people and learn from them. And one of the things that I would hear from women in my life, I was so blessed and still am so blessed to have a mom who is so self-aware and is able to talk to me about her process. My mom got married super young. Her and my dad got married in their 18, 19, like they were super young. And they stayed together for decades until my dad passed away. That was her soulmate in life. And I saw my mom, after my dad passed, learn herself all over again. And granted, no matter what you do, when you spend that much time with someone, there's gonna be a grief process of you having to continuously figure out who you are as a result of them not being with you. I had to go through that after my dad passed away too, and I'm still going through that. I look at my mom enjoying her life by herself, and I'm so proud of her. And I wasn't even planning on talking about this because I'll literally cry. But it was helping me understand that what I had was so special. I didn't want to wait until someone else came into my life for my life to feel like it had value. And I think that's what a lot of us do. A lot of us feel like we need to wait for someone to activate this fairy tale of ours. And mind you, this isn't me saying like I'm an independent woman who don't need no man. At the end of the day, theoretically, I don't need anybody to make me happy, but I want that. I want companionship. I want my husband. I need him for a lot of things. I don't need him for me to survive, but for me to thrive, I do feel like I need that companionship. I need that soulmate. I need that love. I need that person to share my moments with, right? We all need that companionship. And I'm not ashamed to ever say that. Ahmed brings so much into my life. I needed to have a life for him to bring things into my life. And there's two ways that I want you to do this. The first thing that enabled me to access this feeling of being joyful and present without someone so I could ultimately be joyful and present with someone is believing that it would happen for me. Now, a lot of us have this anxiety, this crippling anxiety that we're never going to find someone. What if we never meet someone? What if we never find the man of our dreams? What if we never get our dream relationship? I know that that thought feels so much more accessible to you because that is where your anxiety is taking you, but you're choosing to think those things. And just as you are choosing to ask yourself, what if it doesn't happen? You can start to slowly replace that question with, what if it is going to happen? What if it happens at the end of this year? Do I want to just sit around twiddling my thumbs? If I'm meeting him on December 31st, 2024, don't I want to be able to tell him about what my 2024 was like? Or do I want to be like,
oh, hey, I was just sitting around waiting for you. Honestly, I don't have a lot of cool stories because I was just waiting for you to come find me.
no, like if you knew he was coming on December 31st, 2024, you would put your head down, I imagine, and make that year lit. When I was a senior in high school, I applied to the University of Michigan, one of my dream schools. I got accepted in November/December. I forget when they let you know, I think December. The rest of that year was lit. I was still focusing on my grades and, here and there, but I had so much fun that year because I knew that I was getting in and I had this certainty. I had this admissions letter that told me me, come September of the next year, you're gonna be on this campus. So I put my head down. I enjoyed the hell out of the rest of my senior year. I enjoyed the hell out of being in my hometown and around my family and living at home because I knew I'd be on campus. And I especially enjoyed the hell out of that summer in Lebanon. Let me just tell you, that summer changed my life. Okay, but I wanted to have fun as a high schooler and high school graduate because I knew college would be stressful in its own way. And I think that this mindset really comes from not allowing yourself to believe the grass is gonna be greener on the other side. The grass is green here and the grass is green there. Because guess what? The grass is green where you water it, okay? And if you water this phase of your life, it will be so beautiful. You're not gonna be looking over the fence at this beautifully mowed lawn that you wanna one day get to because your lawn is gonna be lit. He's not saving you from this miserable life. You're not freaking Rapunzel or whatever other stupid Disney princess they try to convince you needs saving. Like, your life is beautiful. And that way you're not gonna run at the first opportunity to escape your current life, your single life. You're gonna wait until the right person knocks on that door. You're gonna wanna share your beautiful, fruitful life with someone who is deserving. And the way that you can access that is by actually being stubborn and low-key delulu enough to convince yourself that it is going to happen for you, so that you don't operate from this what if, desperation, fear-based place that is not going to attract the right person. Let's just be real. Instead of asking yourself, what if it doesn't happen? Focus on creating moments right now that you're excited to one day share with that person. This brings me to the manifestation tool that I didn't even know that I was using when it came to manifesting Ahmed. I was in college. I remember vividly. I just picked up my iPhone at the time and started this notes section in my phone to my future husband because I was so sure at that point in my life, I think I was 19 or 20, I knew I wasn't going to meet him for several years. I just knew it. And you know, at the end of the day, did I know it or did I will it to happen? Who cares? I didn't want to be committed. I didn't want to meet my husband or start my relationship with my husband until at least my mid-20s or later 20s, because I wanted, again, to create this beautiful life on my own before I shared it with somebody else. I'm not saying this needs to be your timeline. I'm just saying because I knew that it was my timeline, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to talk to this person. So I wanted to find a way to talk to him without talking to him. So I started this years-long notes section, letters to my future husband, where I would write to this person. And they are like the cutest, most beautiful, most amazing letters that are really just about my self-development. They're really about watching how I've grown, how I've struggled through things. I would even talk to him about breakups that I was going through. I would treat it like this is my soulmate, this is my best friend, this is the person that understands me better than anyone. And what I didn't realize that I was doing while I was writing those things is visualizing the type of person that I wanted to be with. I was having conversations and thinking about how I wanted to feel, how comfortable I wanted to feel with that person. And at the same time, I was kind of documenting my life for the day that I would meet this person. And if you're wondering whether I've let him read them, I'm doing a little drip campaign with them. He hasn't read all of them, but every here and there, I'll let him see a letter or two and just kind of get a feel of what I was going through during those periods of my life. These two strategies that I just talked you through combined really work well together. If you just put it in your head that you're going to meet somebody, your energy is going to change because you're going to go from feeling kind of scared and even low-key desperate and thirsty to feeling self-assured and in a position to be present and enjoy your life. And if you're combining that with something like writing letters to him, which I would recommend because I think it's so fun, you're kind of in this posture of writing stories about your life as if your life is this beautiful fairy tale in itself that someone's going to be so excited to learn about that you don't want to miss a beat because you want him to be able to get caught up on this fruitful, beautiful, amazing, wondrous life that you had before they entered the picture. And I just want you to know, it is so much sexier when you come to the table as someone who loves their freaking life. This is not why I did it. I genuinely just loved my life and still love my life. But I know that Ahmed thought it was so attractive that I had my stuff together. I was excited about my life. I had goals, I had aspirations, and they didn't require him to be there. But once he made himself someone who was interested in those things and interested in me, I felt lucky to share that with him, but I also felt like he was someone that would get it. It's just a flex. When you're someone who is whole and you're someone who has so much going for you and you're not waiting to be saved. If you approach relationships from the perspective of waiting for someone to come and save you, whether it's from your home, whether it's from the city that you're living in, whether it's just from a bad relationship, you're giving away leverage. And I don't care what anybody says, relationships, whether they're romantic or whatever, they're all negotiations in some way, shape, or form. Yes, I trust my husband. Yes, I love him. I also understand that this relationship doesn't exist in its own little vacuum outside of the rules of normal relationships. Like, if a man feels like he's saving you, you've given up so much leverage for no reason. Like, for what? If a man, however, feels like he needs to show you that he's worthy, just like you need to show him that you're worthy if he's a high value man. If he is coming to the table seeing how amazing your life already is, how he approaches that conversation is going to be totally different. He's not going to approach you like he's the next best thing. He's going to approach you like he needs to show you that he's the next best thing. Okay? Like, there's still some like courting that needs to be done, that he still needs to impress you at the end of the day. And I want that for you. I never want you to give away your power. I don't care who you think this person is. I don't ever want you to give away your power to anybody, because ultimately your relationship will be so much more beautiful and powerful when you don't give away your power, when you stand in your power and he stands in his power and you guys both bring that to the table. I want you to really, really try at least one of these, okay? Whether it's writing letters to your future husband, whether it's setting a date when you know you're gonna meet this person and just live in this Delulu world. I have a video kind of like helping you understand why it is actually logical and practical to create that certainty in your life, even if you're not actually sure, because who actually knows when things will happen? Because the most important thing at the end of the day in getting these types of things to manifest is the energy that you are embodying. And you cannot embody the energy that you need to be in that dream relationship if you are afraid and constantly anxious and wondering if it's ever going to happen for you. Please let me know what questions you have about all of this. I love you so, so, so much. And as always, stay powerful, my loves.